Welcome to The View From Here, a podcast where we uncover the turning points, pressure moments, and the identity shifts that shape high achievers into who they are today. This show is for people who've built impressive lives on paper, but now their real story sits in the moments no one sees. The pivots, the breakdowns, the breakthroughs, and the internal rewiring that changes their trajectory. The View From Here is about perspective, the one you earn only by living it. Jordan Emserman is the new generation of entrepreneur. Self-made, self-taught, and fast-moving. He didn't start in the boardroom. He started as a tradesman, then made a leap into business, learning in real time what it takes to lead, build, and think like a CEO. That shift demanded more than strategy. Starting a company with his partner, Tamara, meant evolving how he communicates, handles pressure, and how he shows up in both his business and life. Today, he's immersed himself in the world of marketing, where growth isn't guesswork, it's driven by data, tracking, and decisions backed by numbers. And right now, the frontier he's watching closely is AI, the possibilities it's opened, and the threat it creates for those who are not ready to adapt. Behind the ambition is real work. Managing stress, navigating pressure, and learning regulation so that drive to build doesn't become overwhelmed. Because the real goal isn't chaos, it's simplicity with wealth. Jordan, welcome to The View From Here.
Thank you. Nice to be here, Nikki. Thank you so
So good
much.
to have you here. And
Yeah.
I know that you're used to being on the other side of the camera.
I am.
How does
I'm the typical Instagram boyfriend.
Yeah.
So.
Every now and again, you just need to flick. So how does it feel kind of being in front of it for a change?
Yeah, it's different. That's for sure. Yeah, it's one of those things where I always try to stay behind the camera. I don't see myself as the front and center person.
Yeah.
It's interesting being in obviously a business that obviously requires a lot of the, founders to be front and center. So.
And now you're learning the difficulty and the hard parts of showing up when it's not your natural instinct.
Yeah,
so you can resonate with all of us.
I can resonate with it. It's like one of those things where, I can understand why people find it hard to express themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know if it's a natural instinct in society just to openly share. Some people do it really well, but not traditionally. Is that your experience too?
Yeah, 100%. And especially, I guess, coming from a trade background where, in the trade, talking to men, at work, we don't express ourselves in the way that we would outside of work.
Yeah.
We're very, direct, or we're very we joke around with each other, we take the piss out of each other, and that's normal. But coming out of that into, entrepreneurship, business and stuff like that, I don't go around taking the piss out of, other CEOs and business owners. They don't seem to take kindly to it. So
it doesn't bounce the same way, does it? So that's a great segue. Tell me about your younger self. Where did you grow up? Tell me a little bit of backstory. I don't know much about that.
So, I don't think too many people do, to be fair. So, I grew up in a little town in Lake Macquarie called Toronto. I was born and raised there, was there until I was probably about 16 before I moved out. But, I went to Toronto High, or Trona, and was a bit of a rebel. Got into a fair bit of trouble, a few fights, got suspended, got expelled, got caught stealing wallets one time. I was, in the wrong crowd for a bit. And it wasn't until probably year 8, after being in a couple of fights, where I started to change who I started to hang around with, started hanging around with better people.
Yeah.
And then, through the rest of high school, I was pretty good.
Yeah.
A bit disruptive in class, but that was, that was teenage years.
Yeah. Was school for you? Did you like school?
I liked hanging around for the social aspect. I did like a couple of subjects, which was like maths and physics, science. all because of the data side of things, as I'm picking up now in the
Yeah.
marketing side.
You found your niche.
Found my niche. But yeah, they were the main three topics that I really loved. Shout out to Mr. Renane if you're still around, mate.
One of our favourites, was
One of
he?
our favourites, yeah. But yeah, so yeah, enjoyed that side of school and hanging out with the mates and stuff like that. It was more of a social thing. I was lucky enough to be quite popular back then in school. But yeah, after leaving school, I just sort of fell into the trade, into the boilermaking side of things. Didn't know what I wanted to do when I left school. I did try out to be an Air Force pilot at one point. Didn't make the meds because I had smoked weed beforehand. When I say beforehand, it was like,
within 30 days.
Yeah, within the time frame or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I was a little too honest with it. I should have just said I didn't. So I didn't quite make that. And then, fell into boilermaking. Dad one day was just like, do you like doing this thing? I was like, yeah, I don't mind doing welding. I'm like, right, you're going to TAFE, you're a boilermaker. So I did
was he a trade?
No. Originally, yes, he was a carpenter. And he then became a manager of my family business, or my mother's side family business. So I started doing work for them when I was out of school. And then, fell into the boilermaking, did 4 years apprenticeship, got hired, did a job for 12 years at Sykes. And it was really good. Enjoyed it, yeah. But then sort of 12 years in, got a bit bored of that one place, doing the same thing over and over and over again. I was looking at a typical story, like you look at the people around you and start to realise all these people who do is bitch and groan about, being here.
Yeah.
Like I've got another 40 or so years here. I was like, I don't know if this is for me.
Yeah.
And one of the boys came in, new fella, and had a lot of experience. He's an older guy, and he said, you should got to go out and do shutdowns and stuff like that. Get more experience, etc. Instead of just working in a workshop your whole life. And I was like, okay. So they handed out redundancies, and I put my hand up. And then, from there I was pretty much casual for 20 years.
No way.
Yeah.
Never out of work, always.
Never out of work. Always had a job. Worked in so many different places all around, up and down the east coast of Australia. FIFO, tunnelling, Navy bases.
Wow.
Workshops, all sorts of things. Got a lot of experience out of that. A lot of met people. Got into a lot of altercations.
Interesting. So altercations when you were younger?
No, in the trade as well.
Yeah. Why? What do you think that is?
Well, I mean, up until I was like 28, I was a bit of a joker. So I used to do like a lot of, other tradies and that would prank each other and shit. Maybe sometimes I'd take it a bit too far. So, didn't know when to stop.
Okay. It was all in or not at all.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It was like, they got me back. I'll get them back twice as hard.
I can be creative.
I devised another plan, and anyway, so that got out of hand. But then in other places, it was just fitting in. Like some places were just really cliquey. If you weren't one of the, boys that would hang out of an afternoon and drink piss or go to the pub directly after work and hang out or whatever like that, you just weren't one of the boys.
Yeah.
So then they'd, what's the word? Excommunicate you.
Yeah. And that would have been hard. But you said 100%. At school you were popular.
Yeah.
And then to go into those situations where you weren't quite making it the cut.
Yeah.
Would have been unfamiliar.
It was very unfamiliar.
Yeah. So how did you cope with that, or did that create altercations as well?
I sort of just found the people that I could talk to. There was one particular work site, which was North Connects, where I stuck it out for 6 months, maybe longer, and I shouldn't have. The people that I was working with at the Navy base would come in, I would get them a job there, and then they'd get excommunicated and bullied out. And they were like, why the fuck are you sticking around there? These guys are fucked. And I'll be like, it's just the money. Like, you know, I was on 250, 300 a year, and the money kept you there. But you're in, you know, the tunnels, you'd go home in the dark, you know, come in the dark, and then you're there all day, mostly in the dark, in the tunnels, so it's quite depressing. And then you have, you know, people around you that just don't want you being there, so it wasn't I was working very much solo during that time, and it did get me down. I did get to the point where I was like, had suicidal thoughts and all that sort of stuff, so it was quite hard.
And it's pretty common in that environment, isn't it?
It's very common.
Yeah,
it's actually got a
firstly,
very high suicide rate.
Yep.
And a lot of divorce rates as well. And it's
Is it 55% divorce rate in FIFOs?
I'm not quite sure what the stats are, but it's
high.
very high.
More than
and the death rate's also really high. You know, I think in the time that I was working in tunnels, it was probably a total of 3 years of my career, and there would have been 3 deaths that I can think of. One on our site, and then 2 on other sites on the same project.
And to give some context to people listening, that may not seem like high numbers, 1 a year, but in Australia, it's super strict on occupational health and safety.
Yeah.
So deaths on work sites are few and far between.
Very
so
few and far between. Very few and far between. Especially when you think of like the workforce as a whole, and what constitutes work in the trades. You know, most workshops will never have a death. They'll have injuries, serious injuries, but not likely have a death. When you think of, you take that into tunnelling, and there might be, out of all the people working in Australia, there might be, you know, 100 to 150,000 people working in tunnels, and you're having 3 deaths over a 3-year period or more, then that's a pretty high percentage of death rate, you know, for a workforce.
Hence the money.
Yeah, hence the money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Danger money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oil rigs, all the same.
100%, yeah.
And so you said it was unhealthy, you were unhappy, but the money was good. What made you leave after 6 months from that particular workplace in the end?
That particular workplace, it's quite funny. It got to the point where I was, obviously feeling quite down on myself. Got to the point where I'd be walking past the people I was working with, they'd give me these death stares. It felt very uncomfortable. I had to isolate myself into a different workshop. And then one day, like I can't remember what I was doing something, and the boss walked past and he gave me some fucking lip. He was just like, "Oh, if I see you doing that again, you're out the gate." And I was like, "You know what?
I'm out."
Fuck off. So I was like, jumped on my phone. Oh, that's what it was. I was on my phone. I was actually looking for a job at the time. I was like, oh, that's what it was. I was looking to replace my job. I was on the phone. And then he's like, said that, and I was like, no, I'm not even going to fucking wait to find a job. So within 15 minutes of that, I just packed up all my tools, walked out to the office, and I was sitting there waiting for something or other so they could let me go. And then the boss walked in, he goes, "What are you doing in here?" I was like, "So yeah, I'm out the gate." He goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I was like, "No, fuck ya." So and then that was it. I was out.
And do you think they were aware how toxic?
Oh, 100% they were.
And yet they did nothing.
One day I let rip in the fucking the pre-start meeting, because there was the guys that I was working with directly, and they were just like, you know, being dicks. So at the pre-starts, they often, you know, say, "Oh, you know, is there anything anyone would like to say? Is there anything coming up for people?" Rah, rah, rah. And I just had enough. I was like, "Yeah, I'll fucking say something." I was like, "You fuckers over there can stop fucking harassing me," and I just let rip on them. And then I went and spoke to the foreman, and I was like, "You know, this needs to stop." And they didn't do anything. Because those other guys have been there for years. So I was like, "You'll leave. We'll just keep these guys." So.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
Isn't that scary? Imagine if it's your 18-year-old son going into that workplace, so excited to be getting this opportunity to work in an environment to earn good money, learn
100%.
skill, and that's what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
and a high suicide rate, depression rate because of the environment.
Yeah. And they push all the safety stuff, like the OH&S stuff. It's like, oh, you know,
Tick a box.
the Are You OK Day, and, you know, look after your mates, and da-da-da-da-da. They don't give a fuck.
And yet, here they are.
That's just for their insurance policies, you know, so. But anyway, that's another conspiracy, another thing.
No, but it's interesting
Another rabbit hole.
Thanks for sharing, because I think it's something with men's mental health at an all-time high. I think there was a stat in Queensland alone that suicidal ideation and suicide in the trade-based industry is the number one industry.
Yeah.
For that stat.
It's not hard to understand why. It's like,
it was like,
you know,
70%.
going back, what was it, the 80s, you know, they had the old saying, it was like something like about a 38-hour day, and that was all you were supposed to work, 38 hours. And the unions had fought for that, to get it to a 38-hour week. And then they slowly crept it up, and then it was a 40-hour week was a standard. And then now it's like
reasonable overtime.
Yeah, reasonable overtime is now from, you know, if you start at 6 in the morning and you finish at 3, now your reasonable overtime's from 3 till 6. And then if you don't do it, they expect you to do it, and they're like, oh, how come you're not working overtime today? And they make you feel guilty about not working the overtime. It's like, well, motherfucker, because I want to go home and spend time with my family. But now it's just like, you work days 6 to 6, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
You're one day off.
And still the same pay.
And still the same pay.
Yeah.
Wages haven't gone up freaking decades.
No.
I was getting $50 an hour back in 2014.
And it's still in 2026.
And it's still pretty much $50 an hour in most places.
Yep. And again, context for anyone that's overseas and going, man, as a tradie, we get paid like $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Yes, but the cost of living in Australia is exorbitantly expensive.
You know, your normal packet of chips. I think it's like 150 gram, whatever it is. Walked in the other day, I just nearly fell over backwards. $8 for a fucking packet of chips. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Water. Bottles of water are always the one that blow your mind.
Yeah.
Like, people walk into a service station, like a petrol
it's like
station.
$7 for a bottle of water.
Correct.
Like, what the fuck?
And you walk into anywhere else, any other country, it's about $1.
Drives
Must
me
be good
nuts.
water. So you moved, obviously, to another location from there. Were you starting to get more and more disgruntled in the industry? Were you looking for more of a change, even though you'd changed locations?
Yeah, so after I got out of the tunnel, this was in Sydney. I stayed in Sydney. I'd worked on the Navy base at HMS Cuttable, and it was actually a really good work site. But I was with another company called Chandler. After I left that place, I went back to a company called Shadbolt, and they were brilliant. Really good work culture. People that they hired were all really good. I loved it. It was like such a great place to work. I really enjoyed working with them. I was there for 4 years.
And why was it so different? What were they doing different to the other place?
It just wasn't you just didn't have that cliquey vibe. I don't know. I guess they hired differently. It was a family-run business. Shout out to Ash, you're a legend. Ash just built a really good culture. And then he sort of stood away and let other people run it, but he had already built the culture. So it was just that way. And then I went back into the tunnels from there because I wanted more money. So it wasn't even that much more, to be fair. And then again, same thing again. Got back into there, cliquey culture. This time I was working with someone and we got along. It was great. But you could still see the clickiness throughout the things, like all the different departments. You know, the pipe, the operators, the pipe fitters, and all them. They all had their little departments, and they were all little cliques. You know. But that one I sort of fit into all right. But I just got to the point where I was just like, oh, I can't keep doing this, like doing all these hours. And then I got hit by lightning. That was an interesting one.
You got hit by lightning?
Yeah. Didn't know that one?
I didn't know this. No.
Yeah, so, well, I wasn't
How
a
did that
direct hit,
happen?
but I still got a really good shock. So it was, where are we now? 26, 25, 24. December end of 2023, I think. Yeah, end of 23, because I quit in 24. So end of 23, December, like December 22 or something like that. And Tamara, my sister, her partner, we hired a boat to go out to Cleveland, or go out from Cleveland to Stradbroke Island. And the guy that we hired it off was like adamant that we couldn't get a refund. And we, the day before, were like, oh, the weather's not going to be good. Like, it's going to be stormy. And I know how bad the water and everything gets there because I'd lived there once before. I was like, yeah, it's not going to be great fun on the boat because the chop gets really rough. Anyway, got there in the morning, could see a storm coming over on the radar. And I said to him, I was like, mate, we shouldn't be going out on this boat. There's a storm coming in. He's like, oh, my wife's at home watching the bomb radar and she'd tell me if there was something happening. Got on the boat, 10 minutes later, storm comes over. We're caught in a lightning storm. Anyway, so we go from Cleveland, we're like, crap, it came over Cleveland, so we couldn't turn around and go back, but probably should have in hindsight. And we got out, we were sort of pretty much out, halfway out to Stradbroke. Storm was in behind us, starting to come around the sides, and we saw the big boats heading south. I was like, they've got radar on their boats. They know which way the storm's heading. I'm following them.
Go.
So we just flat out all the way down to Russell Island, if anyone knows where Russell Island is from Stradbroke. Storms all around us, lightning hitting all around us. We're starting to freak the fuck out. And anyway, we pull up on Russell Island. I get on the pontoon, and as people are getting off the boat, I'm tying the bow lines up. Lightning hits about 50 metres, maybe 100, in between 50 and 100 metres away. The current goes through the ground, through the pontoon, through my legs, up through my arm, and down through the boat. And I shit myself. I was like, fuck, everyone get off the boat. It's like, now. Everyone jumped off. And then, yeah, we just sort of waited out in the park bench. I was just put the Apple Watch on me to see how my heart rate and everything was going. And we got back to the boat ramp, and I let loose on old mate, for putting us in danger. And then that was that. And then January 4, head back to work, and it was Jan 3. And I said to Tam, I was like, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to go do it anymore. And she's like, well, how about you join us in business? And I was like, oh, how are we going to make it work? Didn't make sense at the time.
Tradie. She's in business coaching.
Yeah, I was like, it wasn't, it was doing all right, but it wasn't doing, as well to support us both. And I was like, fuck, I don't know how we're going to do that. But yeah, the next day, something happened actually before then. This is a bit more on the spiritual side. It was in between that time, bought the MacBook Pro, because we already talked a bit about it, and I was like, well, if I'm going to do it, I'll probably want to do the marketing side, because I already had a little bit of experience with marketing and advertising on Facebook ads, and I did enjoy it. So I spent $2,500 on a MacBook, but it was coming on Gen 16. I was like, oh, I'm going to have if I quit my job, I'm going to have 2 weeks where I'm not going to be able to do too much. So on Gen 3rd, the night Gen 3rd, I was like, just university, just give me a bloody a slap in the face sign that this is the right move. And anyway, obviously nothing slapped me in the face that night, but went to work, went in, grabbed my tools, quit my job, walked out the gate, did a reel. On the way home, bit teary, had disturbed, what's the one, something about the light or something or other. Anyway, great song. Had that on, and I was parked behind a bus, and on the back of the bus is a big sign, such and such university, digital marketing degree, Gen 16. And
the
I was like,
computer arrives.
I
Come
was
on.
like, well, if that ain't the sign, I don't know what is. So I was just coming into DY at the time. So, yeah, it got me a bit emotional. I was like, fuck, well, I'm making the right decision. Yeah, and then from there, it was a roller coaster.
And tell me, are you stoked that you made that decision?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And tell us about the scary parts of it, because most people are listening going, hang on a second, how do we go from being a tradie into meta ads, marketing, and all of that? Like, that's huge leaps and bounds away
Especially
from each
when
other.
I wasn't like, I knew very basic stuff
Yeah.
about marketing. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know how to write copy. I didn't know, I knew how to work the platform, but I didn't know the right strategies. And I was like, I'll figure it out.
And English wasn't your number 1 or 2 or 3 subject that you mentioned at school either.
Yeah, English and I was like
When we look at writing copy.
I was like number 4 in English in class. So we had them like ranked 1, 2, 3, 4 down to 7. So I was like in class 4 for English. So I wasn't great at it. Yeah, and with that, the hardest part is definitely the uncertainty, and it still creeps up on me. It's like when those months come where it's like, shit, what do we do in this time? Because right now it's not making sense. Should I go back to the job? Should I do something else? Like, there's always a element of that uncertainty and like, shit, what if shit hits the fan? And I'm a projector. Like, I look at things, or I can see what's coming up. And I'm also that person that's the not pessimistic, but I do have that pessimistic side where I'm like, here's reality.
Yeah.
We can have all the hope that we want, that things are going to go right. But the reality is, Murphy Law says, what can happen will happen.
Interesting.
And I always believe that, because while, times can be great, you can go, oh, everything's up from here. And then something happens, like Meta changes its fucking algorithm, like it did over the last 3 months. And then everything comes fucking crashing down.
Yeah.
And then you go, fuck, what do I do from here? And you just got to adjust. It's hard. It's so much harder than being in a trade where you can just go in and they tell you, hey, go build that or do that.
Because it's repetitive.
Okay, cool. Like, I'll just go do that. Well, you've already mastered the skill.
Yeah.
And nothing really changes other than if you fuck it up. But
yeah, but you're right.
But
in the trades, nothing much changes. And if it does change, it's minute changes over a really long period of time. And it's got to be passed through protocols to even get handed to you.
Yeah, that's right.
For the change. Whereas in your own business, running a side of it that's still new, and it's forever evolving at a
constantly evolving,
really fast pace.
Yeah.
How do you then deal with that pressure, that uncertainty, and as you worded it, pessimistic perspective? Yeah,
so one thing I think that's helped me get through is one, having Tam. She's incredible. Because she's been in this game for so long, like over 12 years, she's gotten so used to the roller coaster of how business works. She just doesn't have fear in that. She's like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, this is happening, but we'll make it work somehow.
What are we going to do to fix it?
Yeah, we'll make it work somehow. Whereas I sometimes get caught up, or often get caught up in the fuck, like, and I get caught up in that despair. Like, it's like, fuck, what am I going to do now? Like, this is happening. It's like, we had all these plans and now it's just fucking shit's hit the fan, like, da-da-da-da. And then she comes in and is like, hey, it's all right. We'll find a way.
Yeah.
I'm like, but how?
Yeah. So is that something that you're consciously working on then, so that it doesn't become, I guess, 0 to 1 million and then needing her energy to bring it back? How can you bring back yourself?
Yeah.
And she's the added bonus to
100%.
Double team on that.
Yeah. So things that we have been implementing in the last 2 years now, I think, 1.5 years at least, is regulation through breath work.
Yeah.
We tend to go to sleep most nights now doing some sort of breath work. Waking up in the morning, not every day, like I don't have a specific routine with it, but I do know when I need to do it. I listen to my body. I'm like, okay, I'm really unregulated right now. I'm like in that heightened state, and like just little things are triggering me. I need to go regulate, or I need to go out and do something. Definitely having the jet ski gives me that release of things. So I'm an adrenaline junkie. My release is through adrenaline a lot of the times. So it used to be motorbikes, it used to be dirt bikes, it used to be skateboarding, it used to be bodyboarding. I don't do those things anymore now. I do have my motorbike for the road, but mostly I just get my adrenaline fix through the jet ski now. I can go out, muck around on that. There's no cops or anything to pull me over for speeding or, for jumping or anything like that. It's free.
Yep.
So that's another way that's a little bit cathartic for me, I guess, and helps me regulate again so I can be there and present on the following week.
Yeah. And did you teach yourself breath work, or did you go and work with someone who facilitates breath work?
No. So we worked with a facilitator.
Yep.
I did find it first, and I actually found it through YouTube. Guy named Breathe with Sandy. I'll give him some extra followers and subscribers. He's already got so many, but he's brilliant. Love it.
Yeah.
Love the way he does it. He's just got a very calm voice. The way he does his breath work's really good. But then we have some friends of ours, Chris and Shani, who run Infinity Breathwork. You know them.
Yeah.
And they were running a workshop, and part of our friendship, like they would come to our events, they'd help out, we'd go to their events, help out, and they offered us a free certification. So I got certified in Cert 1 and Cert 2 in breathwork through them. And yeah, that's how I sort of really got stuck into it and realised the power of it.
Yeah.
So it was sort of through that.
And what growth? Because would you say that 10 years ago, Jordan would have been open to doing breath work while working in the tunnels in the dark?
So...
Or were you curious?
I think up until the point where I was 28, I was very closed-minded. And I often reflect back on how closed-minded I was, especially when it came to things like music or openness to accept what my friends thought was good and what I thought was good. I was very opinionated in that sense, very strongly opinionated and closed-minded. It wasn't until I was around about 28, 30, I started getting into the first time that I was introduced to Tony Robbins. I did the 30 Days of Power or whatever it is that he does. And that was where my mind opened up. So before then, never thought about entrepreneurship, did that 30 days, couldn't stop thinking about entrepreneurship.
Interesting. Okay, so this was a bit before meeting Tamara
Well
and then taking
before.
the leap out of being a
Yeah.
tradie and going into
Yeah.
the business together, but you had already started planting the seed of curiosity.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I dabbled in like e-commerce and business ideas, Facebook pages
Which you
to
mentioned
sell
you
stuff.
dabbled in
and-
the ads before.
Yeah. And that was an ongoing thing from probably when I was like 33.
Yep.
So yeah, 10 years ago, pretty much. But yeah, nothing really transpired in the way of business, like an actual business.
Okay.
It was the occasional sale here and there, which you could call a business. I call it a bit of a hobby more so. But yeah, when I met Tam on a one night stand, when I met Tam on a one night stand.
Best one night stand ever.
Yeah, it was great. Rufus is sold. I just can't remember which one. Maybe Bloom, maybe? Was it Bloom?
We do love
Bloom.
Rufus. Yep.
Yeah, we love Rufus. Yeah, so I already knew I was looking at that point for a partner who was already entrepreneur minded, because all my previous partners mostly weren't entrepreneur minded. And I was like, well, I don't want to get stuck with someone who's not open already to the thought of being an entrepreneur.
Because you'd done the growth to get yourself out of that fixed state of
Yeah.
being closed-minded, as you said.
Yeah.
So you were already evolving and changing and growing
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
the version you are.
Yeah.
So, because to give it some context to somebody listening who's like, right, so it just happened overnight. He quit that job and he went in and then they just launched the business and away they went.
No.
It's like, this is like a 10, 12 year,
Yeah, it's a big
14-year
personal development
journey of
yeah.
self-discovery,
Yeah.
firstly, trying and changing out of different workplaces,
Yeah.
and then going, hang on a second, I've now met the partner who has those other attributes,
Yeah.
and the formula was there, the curiosity was there, and you'd had enough with the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
100%.
obviously where
Yeah.
it got you to today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time.
That was a lot of time,
Yeah. Not an easy thing.
No.
And hence why it's still growing and evolving even now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What would you say is the hardest thing about being in business with your partner?
Separating business from relationship.
And how do you do that? Or can you
for the
do that?
first probably good 12 months to a year and a half, we didn't know how to do it. We were working pretty much every day of the week, including weekends. We'd take our work to bed with us. Like, it was a lot. We fought a lot. We, come to points where we were like, that's it, we're breaking up. But, we'd always come back around before bed, and try and talk it out. So one of the biggest things I've learnt with being with Tam is being better in my communication. I'm still not great at it. I still shut down, which is probably typical of a lot of guys. They just tend to shut off and be like, fuck off, like, da 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 da. And that's basically what we're taught in the trade as well. Is like, women, we just shut them off, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's all them and their emotions and whatever, and we're logical and we just let them deal with it. But yeah, so a lot of it came around to being better in communication. We had to start setting boundaries on when work time is, when our time is. We stopped working all our weekends. We still do little bits of work on our weekends, but it's not to do with clients. It's not to do with all the admin tasks side of things. This is content mostly. It's like, okay, like what content can we do this weekend? Because we both find that kind of enjoyable. So it's a bit of quality time as well as business time. And having those boundaries around, taking work to bed. Stop taking the work to bed.
Yep.
So leave it in the office or wherever you're doing your work. The bedtime is the bedtime, and trying to shut off, before we get to that.
Yeah.
And
again, did you guys go and get help with that, or is that something that you both just strategized and worked on together?
No, we definitely had a lot of help. Tam is always working on herself. I don't know, I've never found the right person for me with personal development. I don't know if it's because I'm skeptical. What I do find is that I learn in the moment. So I was like, oh shit, that's happened. And then part of the reason why I go silent is arguments is because I'm starting to think, what's happened here? How do I try to say this differently next time? And oftentimes I still repeat patterns, but those patterns I know have been there from well in my childhood, and it's trying to
evolve
from those patterns. So self-awareness, you need to have like really high self-awareness. Tam's been really good with finding, people who can help her work through her own demons and patterns and stuff like that.
But not you yet.
Yeah, so I tend to only get triggered through her, which is, another reason. Yes, a mirror. So it's like...
She's the perfect partner for you.
Exactly. And we always say that. We always say we're soulmates, and I know things get hard and I get triggered by you, but like, you're teaching me lessons.
So interesting though, like I want to double down on this because you guys work together, live together obviously, you're doing life together, and when our partner is our greatest trigger and we're trying to then problem solve it ourselves, plus work, plus take on the stresses of Facebook changing the algorithms, it's a lot.
It is.
How do you know, and obviously you're doing breath work to help with the overwhelming aspect, but you're doing a lot on your own still.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's your tendency, is to double down on yourself in the past and presently to solve the problems?
I think a lot of my independency come from my childhood.
Yeah.
So from about the age of, I think it was about 8, my parents divorced. And although I wasn't left alone a lot, there were times where I was, from about the age of probably 11, 12. My dad was, I lived with my dad primarily at the time. My dad was dating, so he would go out. My sister was living with mum, so I was at home, mostly by myself. Dad would be like, hey, there's such and such in the fridge, da-da-da-da.
Right.
You know how to cook it? Off you go. So I'd literally be frying up bloody chicken schnitzel and chips or whatever, I needed, or making myself sandwiches, or, having bowls of Weet-Bix or whatever, to look after myself. When it came to money, I was never given money. Dad always made me work for it. The only time I was given money was either by mum or my uncles. Dad was always making me work for it. It was like, oh, you want to go buy a skateboard? Well, you have to go earn it. Like, go mow the lawns, go do this, go do that, make this, do that. So I was earning that money, which gave me a lot of independency and structure in that sense. So I think that's where it comes into
the relationship, because there's somewhat reliance to a degree with your partner being the face of the business, because you said you're the behind the scenes guy, even though there's still a lot of expectation and weight placed on you to build out the back end. You can only control so much, whereas if you come from industries that paid well, you dictated when you changed locations, you dictated the choices you made on showing up, and now you're handing over that responsibility, which is the first time since you were probably 8, partially to someone else, who is your life partner.
That was one of the biggest struggles I had.
It's massive.
In finding my masculine again once I left, because Tam did take a very masculine role in that first year. That's why we headbutted so much in that first year.
Because you're used to being that.
Yeah, because I was used to leading in that, and then all of a sudden I'm in this business where I can't lead because I'm not the founder.
And well, most of your partners in the past, because you said they weren't business owners, they were employed. Did they earn less than you?
Did they what?
Earn less than you?
Yes.
Predominantly?
Yeah. Always.
So there was always the role of, you were the provider, you were the, I don't want to use the word superior, but I'll just use it in the context of the superior money earner in the dynamic.
100%.
Which served you because that was what was safety.
Yeah. I was in control.
And just to double back to that period of time in your childhood that you mentioned, you were home a fair bit, your dad was out a fair bit, obviously parents had separated, a lot of change. And you said way back at the start that you were angry, you got into fights a lot, you're a bit of a naughty kid and hung out with the wrong people. Did it time around the same thing? About that same time?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And so
It was
for
probably
anyone-
me acting out
Yeah.
a lot.
because most men don't know how to express their emotions. And if they're around primarily their dad, which you said you were, you're not, and he's just moving on because that was what he needed to do for whatever reason, you can't speculate. You're not learning or have an outlet to talk about how it's impacting you.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't think I ever did talk about how, like, even if I think back at it now, I don't even...
Anyone ever asked?
I don't even know how I felt about it at the time.
Yeah.
Probably because I suppressed it so much.
And then we don't communicate as adults because we've not learned to talk about the discomfort that we feel.
Yeah.
It's a massive skill set, isn't it? That we kind of skip past, but it comes back. And ironic that you have a partner who doubled down on self-help and self-development to challenge you on the area that you'd avoided for 3/4 of life.
Definitely.
It's kind of the gift that keeps giving.
Yeah, it definitely
She'll love
is. It
hearing
definitely is.
But I love this because it's so beautiful to hear that even with all those fears, even with all those challenges, you still took the leap of faith. You've still found someone to share all of this beautiful life with, but it's a work in progress.
Oh, 100%.
And maybe the biggest challenge is knowing that you don't have to do all that self-discovery work on your own and being able to keep searching.
Well, I don't technically do it on my own because Tam sort of brings it out for me.
Well, she brings it out. Interesting, isn't it? She brings it out.
She brings it out.
But you need an external
Yeah.
to often help us. You know, like they say the worst therapist is if your partner's a therapist to do therapy on your own dynamic because you're in it and it's just not as easy to hear things abstract. And the way we bring subconscious things to the surface is we get triggered, which brings them there flooding fast. But the second way we do it is through peeling back the layers. So it's a much nicer way of doing it rather than ripping a Band-Aid off with force, so that you get to work through it slowly and you have those natural realizations come through, like what we were just talking about with the past. It's that natural organic way. It's like organic marketing.
Yeah, 100%.
Versus paid. Wow, did you just use that analogy?
You did.
Well, too. No, and I love that. So tell me, what's the biggest plans you guys are working towards currently between being able to still continue working on relationship and then working on business and maintaining those healthy boundaries?
Yeah, so our biggest goals right now, biggest things we're working towards right now is one, stabilizing our dynamic, which it's so much better than what it was. We now communicate heaps better and all that sort of stuff. We want to have our own family, so we're looking to have a baby this year. Tam just got all the surgeries, and now we're not trying, so that'll be amazing. We want to travel a little bit more. Tam really wants to go to New York. I don't really care for travel too much. Like, I enjoy it, but like, I'm also like, I'm okay to not travel, so to speak. Tam's definitely more the
driver of that ship.
Well, yeah, she likes what's the word? Not uncertainty, variety. She likes variety, whereas I'm very simple in that sense, which is why I mentioned in their form, like, simple life but wealthy, right? Because obviously I want the wealth. I don't want to have to,
struggle,
go through life and worry about what I'm spending my dollars on. I want to be able to spend freely. I want to be able to buy her whatever she wants. I want to, if she wants to go traveling, hey, let's go travel then. Yeah. But at the same time, I'd be happy to have a house somewhere where it's nice, and just have a jet ski and a bike and my family.
Yeah. I'm interested. Does that come back to earlier life and creating the family and the life and that stability?
I'm actually looking, now you mention that, I'm reflecting on how Tam's life was, and I'm reflecting on how my life was, and I can see it.
It's
Now
so
you say,
different but so
because-
similar.
Yeah, because obviously through my childhood, I grew up in Toronto. It was a quiet town. It was very stable. I was there for best part of 14 years. My cousins lived down the road. We were always just playing and mucking around. There was always that base. Whereas Tam's had a lot of moving around, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of change, a lot of variety. And now she's like, she
craves the variety.
she craves that variety still, because it's what she knows. And mine is
Craves stability.
stability and that home base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even more so, why I love that the two of you have come together, because
We're the yin and yang.
it's the yin and yang. Oh, it's the word of the day: yin and yang, equilibrium, and balance. Because you're working out and navigating a way to be the best of both worlds merged together, where you become her stability and she becomes kind of, I guess, the driver of adventure. Even though you said you're an adrenaline junkie,
Yeah.
it's adrenaline as an outlet to escape something we're not wanting to feel. Whereas adventure is creating opportunity to see things from different perspectives and learn and grow.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating how you two could come together and bring those key elements in, and what an incredible mix it could be.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah,
It's
coming back
exciting.
around to the other goals.
Yeah.
In business, we really want to start helping more people. I would love to be, if tradies or whatever have already gotten out of their business and they've started a business, I'd love to be, working with those guys. I know Tam wants to work more with people who are struggling with their content and all that sort of stuff. We really want to be able to get to the 150 to 200 clients a year, which would be absolutely epic. Just knowing that we can, help people who are in that fear of where this fucking crazy world is going right now. And there's obviously everyone's fighting for their lives that are in jobs right now. They have that fear of how do I get out of my job
Yeah.
and build a business? Well, the first step is just have that leap of faith, as they say. I get 1,000,001 ideas a day. Literally, 1,000,001 ideas a day. It's crazy. Tam's like, are you going to implement this one? I've got one that I've got on the back burner at the moment. It's in the US. We're designing it. But yeah, that's another headache. But then I've got this other one. I'm like, I need to get Ryan Drake as my co-founder on this thing. And it's like, I've got this other thing that I want to do. It's like for YouTube, it'll be this and this. We could set up this studio thing, and I've got this other thing that
So it's about you reining it
I've
in.
got so many ideas. It's crazy. It's just a matter of implementing them. They're all great ideas. All great ideas. So if anyone wants an idea, come to me. You pay me $5,000. I'll give you an idea that's probably worth $1 million.
Create your own Shark Tank.
And yeah, we just obviously want to create a business that gives us that financial freedom as well, and help as many people as possible. And
So if somebody was listening right now and they were like, I'm so close to taking that leap of faith, but what would be the very first step? Think about Jordan New version when you were still in that job, you were about to walk out of that work site, and then you're daunted with this, oh my God, I've just done this. What's something that you could suggest to them to do?
I think for me, the start of the progression was obviously that 30 Days of Power CD. And that is a really good way to start shifting your mindset, because honestly, that is the biggest roadblock for anyone wanting to get out of a job into entrepreneurship. If you don't work on that mindset, you don't create the expectation of, fuck, this is going to be hard, you're not going to make it. You're going to quit within the first 2 weeks. 100% guarantee it. Because the thing that we always see online is every entrepreneur, oh, they've made it. They've made a $7 million or $1 million business. It appears that they did it overnight. They like, oh, I just got this 2 Comma Club award and da 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 da, and it's like, oh my God, they've only been in business like 1 year and they've just made it. Yeah, maybe they have been in that business for 1 year, but I know so many who have started so many other businesses
that are obsolete now.
And they're obsolete.
Yeah.
And then they made the business that made 7 figures.
Yeah.
I know one of our, not direct competitors, but they are competitors of ours. They had 3 businesses before they created the one that they've got now that's doing multi 7 figures. So the first step is creating the mindset. I listen to so many motivational clips from Arnold, Les Brown, E.T., Grant Cardone, The Rock. Like, there was actually a playlist that I used to play every morning on my way to work, and I'll play it on repeat every freaking day. The books that I read, How to Outwit the Devil by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, 4-Hour Work Week, like all these great books that everyone always mentions.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they always mention them.
Because they're timeless.
Timeless, and they help shift your mindset.
Yeah.
They help prepare you for what's about to become.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you don't have that mindset when you leave, you're pretty much fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. And great tips and tools and strategies in so many different ways. So if they haven't got the money to go and invest in someone straight up, just start with the things that you can afford. Just take action. Yeah. Take one step.
You can even get the Tony Robbins 30-day thing on YouTube now, I believe.
There you go.
So,
yeah.
But it's a matter of committing to it.
Start.
And that 30 days, you'll have to give shit up to do it. I had to give stuff up.
Stop
I used to
scrolling
game
for 30 minutes a day and there's 30
well,
minutes.
it builds up quite quickly. You might have to spend an hour and a half in an afternoon just to go through all the stuff that he gives you.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of building that muscle to commit, because once you start a business, there's no backing out. Your business relies on you. It's like a child. You have to feed it. You have to show up for it. You have to do things. You have to wake up in the morning. You have to go do things. And that's one of the biggest things I'm proud of with Tam, is how relentless she is at showing up. Like, we've had literally fights where she's in tears 5 minutes before getting on calls, and she wipes the tears away. She gets on. She's like, does a quick makeup. She's like, hey guys, da 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 da. Like, nothing's happened. And I'm like, I don't think I could fucking do that. Like, the tenacity on her is like absolutely incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah. Really incredible. Really inspiring.
I love that. And what a great person to share life with and then aspire to keep growing with.
100%.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And so just finally, because this has been so incredible and there's just so many actionable steps that people can take away and try one thing for themselves, or you know what, just be curious about how to change. But what the phrase, the view from here, what does that mean to you right now?
So the view from here for me is looking at things through other people's lenses. When you hear someone talking, especially people that you might aspire to, try to see life through their lens, or try to envision what it would be like to be them and take on the characteristics that you like.
I love that. So moulding it into your version from
Yeah.
the things that land or resonate with you.
Yeah, which is why I listen to so many things on repeat.
Yeah.
Because eventually, I can't remember who said it. Might have even been Tony Robbins. Said, if you listen to something long enough, it starts to stick.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I was like, okay, well, if I listen to, that list of, the greats talking about motivation and stuff, then, if I listen to it on my way to work, if I listen to it at the gym, then it's going to imprint on my mind. And it did.
I love it.
It really did.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's been incredible because I've got
Thank you.
to learn some new things about
Yeah.
you today and hear more about why you are like you are today. I think that's so special, and I can see why Tam's so big on personal branding and sharing that story, because I feel like I have even more respect for you and how far you've come, what you've done to create the life that you have for you, and the skill set that you're working on and building on now, and how it's also complementing what you and Tamara are bringing together.
Oh, thank you,
And
Nikki.
it's beautiful. So thank you very much.
You're so welcome, and thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to see where you guys
Yeah.
take things. Bring on 2026.
100%.
Thank you.
No worries.